dedicated nurse faces unjust accusation of negligence and receives a life-changing gift from the deceased. Sarah was a dedicated nurse known for her empathy and professionalism. However, her life changed drastically when she was accused of negligence in the death of Mr. William Parker, a patient she had cared for with great attention. On that fateful day, Sarah followed all medical protocols to the letter, but a series of unforeseen events culminated in William's passing. The hospital administration, without thoroughly investigating, decided to hold her responsible, leading to her dismissal. Sarah was devastated, as she had always taken pride in her work and never expected to be treated so unjustly. Upon receiving the news, Sarah tried to argue and explain her position, but her efforts were in vain. The hospital's management had already made their decision, and she had no chance to defend herself adequately. The feeling of powerlessness consumed her, and the disappointment with the lack of support from her colleagues was immense. "I did everything I could," she repeated to herself, seeking some consolation. The farewell words from the directors were cold and insensitive, and the weight of guilt began to settle in her heart, even though she knew she had done her best. The days that followed were bleak for Sarah. She couldn't shake the memories of William's final moments, trying to figure out if she could have done something differently. The abrupt dismissal left a void in her life, not just from losing her job, but from the broken trust in the institution she served. Friends and family tried to comfort her, but their words of support seemed unable to reach the depth of her sadness. Sarah withdrew into her own world, reflecting on her next steps and how to clear her name. However, Sarah's inner strength began to emerge. She knew she couldn't live with the stigma of an unjust accusation. "I need answers, not just for myself but also for William's family," she thought. The idea of going to the cemetery to say goodbye to him and find some peace began to take shape in her mind. Even though the hospital administration had failed to understand the situation, she still felt a deep responsibility for her patient's care, even after death. The decision to visit William's grave was not easy. Sarah feared confronting the reality of her loss and the possible presence of his family. However, she felt she needed to do it to move forward. She bought flowers and decided that if she encountered any of William's family members, she would express her sorrow and explain what had really happened. Sarah believed that if she could talk to them, she might find some form of reconciliation, even if it was minimal. At the cemetery, Sarah felt overwhelmed with deep sadness as she arrived at William's grave. She carefully placed the flowers she brought on the cold marble and knelt down, feeling the weight of the injustice on her shoulders. The memories of the moments she spent caring for him resurfaced, and tears began to stream down her face. She whispered words of apology and lament, trying to find some comfort amidst the emotional chaos. In that moment, Sarah felt surrounded by a comforting silence, almost as if William were there to hear her words. As she stood there, lost in her thoughts, Sarah realized she wasn't alone. William's family approached, bringing an atmosphere of respect and affection. Sarah stood up, ready to face any reaction that might come. To her surprise, William's family welcomed her warmly. William's wife, with a gentle smile, said, "Thank you for everything you did for him. We know he was in good hands." The family's words brought unexpected relief to Sarah, dissipating some of the guilt she carried. William's son also expressed his gratitude, telling Sarah that his father always spoke of her with fondness. "He said you were like an angel to him," he commented, touching her shoulder tenderly. Sarah was moved, not knowing exactly how to react. The gratitude she received seemed to contradict everything that had happened at the hospital. The family did not blame Sarah for William's death. On the contrary, they were grateful for everything she did during his final days. Those words were like a balm for her wounded soul. As the conversation progressed, Sarah felt increasingly welcomed by the family. The unexpected encounter was more comforting than she could have imagined. William's wife commented on how Sarah always dedicated herself to her husband's well-being and how it made a difference to him. "He always said you made him feel safe," she said. The words echoed in Sarah's heart, bringing a new perspective on her work and dedication. She realized that, despite the tragedy, she had fulfilled her mission to care for her patients. The atmosphere between Sarah and William's family was one of mutual understanding and respect. They talked about William's last moments, sharing stories and memories. The family spoke of how he liked to talk about life and his dreams, even knowing that the end was near. Sarah listened attentively, feeling like part of that story of love and care. The meeting at the cemetery became a sort of tribute to William, where the love and respect he had for Sarah were evident in every word spoken by the family. Sarah was surprised to discover that the family had something special to give her. William's wife took a small envelope from her bag and handed it to her. "William left this for you," she explained with a gentle smile. Sarah opened the envelope with trembling hands, finding a letter and the key to a house. The family explained that William had a country house he wanted Sarah to have. "He wanted you to know how much he appreciated your care and dedication," said the son, as Sarah, in shock, absorbed the significance of the gift. William's letter was a particularly emotional moment for Sarah. As she read it, tears welled up in her eyes again. He thanked her for all the care and attention, expressing his gratitude for having her by his side during his final moments. Reading the letter was like a final dialogue between them, where William reaffirmed his respect and affection for Sarah. With her heart full of emotions, she promised herself that she would honor that gift in a meaningful way. A few days after the cemetery visit, Sarah decided to visit the country house that William had left for her. Curiosity mixed with a sense of purpose led her to take the keys and drive to the location. The property was charming, surrounded by tall trees and wildflowers. Upon entering the house, Sarah felt a welcoming and peaceful atmosphere. Everything there seemed to tell a story, from the rustic furniture to the old photographs on the walls. She walked through the rooms, feeling connected to William's past in a way she had never experienced before. However, the biggest surprise was yet to come. While exploring William's room, Sarah found an old wooden box on top of a table. Inside, there was a collection of meticulously written diaries. Carefully, she picked up one of the notebooks and began to read. The first pages revealed a side of William that Sarah did not know. He was a man of great emotional depth, and the diaries were a reflection of his most intimate thoughts and feelings. As she read, Sarah realized how much William valued life, even knowing that his condition was terminal. William's writings were a revelation for Sarah. He described his struggle with the illness and his gradual acceptance of his fate. One of the most touching passages spoke about his gratitude for Sarah's care. "She is more than a nurse," he wrote. "She is a friend, a confidant. Her presence made my days more bearable." These words resonated deeply with Sarah, reaffirming the value of her work and dedication. She felt understood and respected, something the hospital administration had never shown. As Sarah continued to read, she found crucial information about William's condition. He suffered from a rare and incurable disease, something he knew from the start. In the diaries, he explained how the illness would inevitably lead to his death, regardless of the care he received. This discovery was an immense relief for Sarah. She finally understood that nothing she did could have changed the outcome. The guilt she carried began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of peace and understanding. William's legacy extended beyond the diaries. In one of the last entries, he mentioned his wish for Sarah to find a greater purpose. "I hope this house becomes a refuge for you and for all who need peace," he wrote. "May she find a new beginning here, just as I found peace in my final days." These words were etched in Sarah's mind, and she began to reflect on how she could honor William's wish. The country house, with its beauty and tranquility, seemed like the perfect place to start something new and meaningful. William's gift was not just a property but an opportunity for a fresh start. Sarah felt that the place had a special potential, something she could not yet fully define. However, an idea began to take shape in her mind. Inspired by William's words and legacy, Sarah thought of transforming the country house into a place where others could find peace in their final moments. The idea of creating a hospice began to solidify, bringing with it a new purpose. With the key in her hands and William's letter in her heart, Sarah left the house that day with a new vision for the future. She knew the journey would not be easy, but she was determined to honor William's gift in a meaningful way. The connection between them, built amidst care and compassion, now transformed into a mission. Sarah was ready to turn the pain of loss into a legacy of love and care, offering other families the comfort and dignity that William wished for everyone. With William's diaries in hand, Sarah returned to the hospital determined to clear her name. As she walked through the hallways, she remembered the difficult moments she faced after her dismissal. The feeling of betrayal still weighed on her heart, but the desire to prove her innocence was stronger. She was greeted by the head nurse, who seemed surprised to see her. "Sarah, what are you doing here?" he asked, with a tone of curiosity and suspicion. "I'm here to show that I wasn't negligent," Sarah replied firmly, holding up the diaries. Sarah was taken to a meeting room where the hospital administration had gathered to hear her. Calmly and precisely, she presented the evidence from William's diaries, highlighting the parts that explained the rare and incurable condition of her former patient. William knew his illness was terminal. "I followed all the protocols, but unfortunately, there was nothing that could change his fate," Sarah said, as the looks on the directors' faces showed a mix of surprise and shame. The silence in the room was palpable, and Sarah felt that, finally, her voice was being heard. One of the directors, visibly moved by the evidence, stood up and apologized to Sarah on behalf of the hospital. "We deeply regret how we treated you. It was a terrible mistake not to investigate thoroughly before making any decision," he admitted, with a look of genuine regret. The words of apology brought some relief to Sarah, but she knew her journey at the hospital had come to an end. "I appreciate the recognition, but I can't return to work here. I need to follow a new path, where I can continue caring for people with dignity," she declared. The decision not to return to the hospital was difficult, but Sarah knew it was the right choice. She felt that her mission now was much greater than a simple job. As she left the hospital, she felt a weight lifted off her shoulders. She was free from the unjust accusation and ready to move forward. The vision of Parker's Refuge began to take shape in her mind with more clarity and purpose. Sarah was determined to transform the country house into a place where terminal patients and their families could find peace and comfort in their most difficult moments. With her reputation restored, Sarah dedicated herself entirely to preparing Parker's Refuge. She began planning the necessary renovations to the country house, aiming to create a welcoming and safe environment for future residents. Every detail was thought out with care, from the decoration of the rooms to the creation of comfortable living spaces. "This place will be a refuge of love and care," Sarah would say to herself as she worked. The memory of William and his legacy of gratitude and respect guided every decision she made. Sarah also started to promote her initiative in the community, seeking support and volunteers to help create Parker's Refuge. The responses were encouraging, with many people offering their time and resources to contribute. Sarah and William's story touched the hearts of many, and the idea of a place dedicated to compassionate care for terminally ill seniors was received with enthusiasm. Sarah felt she was on the right path, creating a space that honored William's memory and offered dignity and comfort to those in greatest need. The process of transforming the country house into a hospice was challenging, but Sarah was determined to overcome every obstacle. Each day, Parker's Refuge became more real and tangible, a symbol of overcoming and love. Sarah knew that the hard work would be worth it, and every small progress motivated her even more. With the support of the community and the inspiration left by William, she was building something that would have a lasting impact on many people's lives. Parker's Refuge was destined to be a place of peace, love, and care, just as William had wished. With Parker's Refuge well underway, Sarah dedicated herself more and more to the project. Transforming the country house into a hospice was hard work, but she found a new purpose in every detail. Every renovated room, every piece of furniture chosen was a tribute to William and his vision of a dignified and peaceful end of life. Sarah wanted to create a space where the elderly could feel at home, surrounded by care and compassion. The support from the local community was essential, and many volunteers began to show up, offering help to make Sarah's dream a reality. The name Parker's Refuge was chosen as a tribute to William's legacy and the special connection he had with Sarah. The idea of transforming the country house into a place where others could find comfort in the final moments of their lives became Sarah's central mission. "I want everyone who comes here to feel loved and respected," she would say while explaining the concept to new volunteers and partners. Sarah wanted Parker's Refuge to be more than just a hospice. She wanted it to be a home, a place of warmth and care. Sarah's work didn't stop at the physical aspects of Parker's Refuge. She also dedicated herself to creating an emotionally welcoming environment. Sarah organized meetings with the families of future residents to understand their needs and wishes. She believed that care should be holistic, attending to both body and spirit. "Each person here is unique and deserves personalized care," she emphasized. This unique approach quickly set Parker's Refuge apart as an innovative institution in the field of palliative care. Sarah also began seeking qualified professionals to join the Parker's Refuge team. Her goal was to create a group of people who shared the same vision of compassionate care. During an interview, she met Dr. Michael Harris, a doctor who, like her, had a deep passion for offering a dignified end of life to patients. Dr. Harris was immediately interested in the project and offered his help. "I'm impressed with your dedication, Sarah. I'd like to contribute what I can to this mission," he said, marking the beginning of a promising collaboration. With Dr. Harris's arrival, Parker's Refuge began to take shape not only as a physical space but as a supportive community. He brought his medical expertise and deep understanding of the needs of terminal patients. Together, Sarah and Dr. Harris worked on creating care programs, which included everything from specialized medical care to recreational activities for residents. "We want everyone here to feel valued and cared for," Dr. Harris explained to new team members. Their collaboration was harmonious, based on mutual respect and a common goal. As Parker's Refuge approached its opening, Sarah felt a mix of emotions. The responsibility was enormous, but the reward of being able to help so many people was even greater. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready to face any challenge. The country house, once a place of memories and mourning, was now transforming into a beacon of hope and care. Sarah believed she was honoring William's legacy in the best possible way, creating a space where love and respect were fundamental pillars. The day of the opening finally arrived, and Parker's Refuge opened its doors to the first residents. Sarah and her team welcomed the families with warmth and care, showing each patient their new home. The reactions were moving, with many expressing relief and gratitude for finding such a welcoming place for their loved ones. Sarah felt that all the hard work had been worth it. She walked through the hallways, observing the smiling faces and lively conversations. Parker's Refuge was now a reality, a place of love and care that honored William's memory and offered a new purpose for Sarah. With Parker's Refuge gaining recognition, the collaboration between Sarah and Dr. Michael Harris became one of the pillars of the institution's success. Dr. Harris, with his vast medical experience and empathy, brought a new dimension to the care of the residents. He was not just a doctor. He was a mentor and friend to Sarah, always ready to offer advice and support. "Your commitment to this place is inspiring," he said to Sarah one afternoon as they discussed new care programs. The mutual admiration they shared became the foundation of a solid and meaningful partnership. Dr. Harris had been impressed with Sarah's dedication to the residents from the start. He noticed how she knew each patient by name, their life stories, and even their little preferences. "You really care about every person here," he remarked, watching Sarah interact with one of the residents. Sarah smiled, grateful to have someone who understood and valued her humanized approach. "Everyone deserves to be treated with love and respect, especially in the final moments of their lives," she replied. This shared understanding strengthened the professional and personal connection between them. In addition to providing his medical services, Dr. Harris also assisted in the management of Parker's Refuge. He often participated in meetings with Sarah to discuss improvements in care protocols and infrastructure. Together, They planned the introduction of new therapies and activities for the residents, always aiming to enhance their quality of life. Every detail makes a difference, Dr. Harris would say as they reviewed plans for a new palliative care wing. Their meticulous attention to detail reflected their commitment to making Parker's Refuge an exemplary place. As they spent more time together, Sarah and Dr. Harris developed a relationship of trust and friendship. They often confided in each other about their personal and professional lives, creating a bond beyond work. Dr. Harris shared his previous experiences in other hospitals and how fulfilled he felt at Parker's Refuge. "I've never seen a place with so much care and dedication," he admitted, showing deep respect for Sarah's work. This successful partnership did not go unnoticed, and it soon became evident to everyone that they made an excellent team. Dr. Harris's presence also brought a sense of security and comfort to the residents and their families. They knew they were in good hands, with professionals who not only understood their medical needs but also cared about their emotional well-being. Sarah and Dr. Harris worked together to ensure that each patient received the best possible care, creating an environment where everyone felt valued and respected. "The work we do here is a true blessing," Dr. Harris commented in a team meeting, reinforcing the spirit of community and commitment. The relationship between Sarah and Dr. Harris was not limited to work. They began to spend more time together outside of Parker's Refuge, talking about their life views and sharing common interests. This quality time deepened their connection even further. "You are an amazing person, Sarah," Dr. Harris said on one such occasion, his eyes reflecting sincere respect. Sarah, in turn, felt a growing admiration for him, not just as a colleague but as a friend and confidant. The closeness between the two sparked murmurs among the staff, who viewed their friendship favorably. As time passed, Sarah began to realize that her feelings for Dr. Harris went beyond friendship. The connection they shared was special, and she felt increasingly comfortable with him. During a casual dinner after a long day at work, Dr. Harris confessed that he felt the same. "I don't know if you've noticed, but you're much more than a colleague to me," he said, his tone serious and sincere. Sarah was surprised but relieved to know that her feelings were reciprocated. This moment marked the beginning of a new phase in their relationship, where the professional and personal began to intertwine harmoniously. As time passed, Parker's Refuge established itself as a place of excellence in palliative care. Sarah's dedication, combined with Dr. Harris's medical expertise, made the place a regional reference. Families visiting Parker's Refuge were impressed with the atmosphere of care and respect that permeated the location. The country house, once a personal retreat, now housed a vibrant and welcoming community. The number of residents grew, and the demand for spots increased. Sarah and her team worked hard to ensure that every new patient was received with the same care and attention as the previous ones. To meet the growing demand, Sarah and Dr. Harris began expanding the facilities. New rooms were built, each decorated with personal touches to make the residents feel at home. Additionally, common areas were expanded to accommodate more activities and community events. "We want everyone here to feel like they belong to a big family," Sarah explained while overseeing the construction. The vision of creating a space that was more than just a medical care facility was becoming a reality. Parker's Refuge stood out as a place where life was celebrated in every moment. The success of Parker's Refuge also attracted the attention of local media. Reports highlighted the facility's humanized and innovative approach, praising how Sarah and her team treated the residents with dignity and love. Interviews with patients' families shared emotional stories of gratitude and relief for finding such a special place for their loved ones. "Here, we know our parents are in good hands," said a tearful daughter during an interview. The public recognition brought even more visibility and support to Parker's Refuge, solidifying its reputation as a model of excellence in palliative care. With the growing popularity, Sarah and Dr. Harris recognized the need to expand the team. They began hiring new professionals, including nurses, therapists, and social workers, all carefully selected to align with the philosophy of Parker's Refuge. The formation of a multidisciplinary team allowed for even more comprehensive and personalized care. "Everyone here is an essential part of the well-being of our residents," Sarah said in team meetings. The collaboration and team spirit were evident, creating a positive and motivating work environment. The growth of Parker's Refuge also brought new challenges. Sarah and Dr. Harris needed to balance the expansion of the facility with maintaining the quality of care. They were determined not to let success affect the core of what made Parker's Refuge special: personal care and compassion. It's crucial that we continue to see each resident as a unique person with their own needs and desires, Dr. Harris emphasized. The duo was committed to maintaining high standards and a humanized approach, even with the facility's growth. The expansion was not limited to physical space. Sarah and Dr. Harris also began developing educational programs for the community about palliative care and end-of-life issues. They organized lectures and workshops for families, helping them better understand the process and cope with the emotions involved. We want to demystify the end of life and show that it's possible to go through it with dignity and love, Sarah explained. These programs benefited not only the residents' families but also helped strengthen the bonds between Parker's Refuge and the community. The popularity of Parker's Refuge continued to grow, attracting visits from other healthcare professionals interested in learning from the care model implemented by Sarah and Dr. Harris. They began offering guided tours and training, sharing their practices and philosophies with other institutions. Our goal is to spread this kind of compassionate care to as many places as possible, Dr. Harris said during one of these visits. The influence of Parker's Refuge began to expand beyond its walls, inspiring changes in other nursing homes and hospitals. The growth of Parker's Refuge was a testament to the power of love and dedication. Sarah and Dr. Harris, with their passion for what they did, transformed the country house into a symbol of hope and compassion. The facility became a second home for many, where life was lived with dignity and respect until the very end. Sarah's journey, from unjust accusation to creating such a special place, was a testament to resilience and overcoming adversity. Parker's Refuge continued to thrive, touching the lives of many people and honoring William's memory in a way he would have been proud of. As Parker's Refuge continued to grow, the relationship between Sarah and Dr. Harris also evolved in an unexpected and beautiful way. Working together and sharing dedication created a strong and deep bond between them. Gradually, the professional began to blend with the personal, and the feelings that once seemed merely friendly turned into something more. Both began to realize that there was something special in their connection, something that went beyond mutual respect and admiration. Their conversations became more personal, with shared confidences and laughter, and their meetings outside of work became more frequent. One night, after a long day at work, Sarah and Dr. Harris decided to have dinner together. The conversation flowed naturally, and the atmosphere was light and relaxed. In a moment of silence, Dr. Harris looked at Sarah and, with a shy smile, confessed, "I've been thinking a lot about us. I think there's something more here, something that goes beyond what we have as colleagues." Sarah was surprised but couldn't deny what she felt. She smiled back, feeling a mix of nervousness and happiness. "I feel the same way," she replied, her heart racing. It was the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, where love began to bloom unexpectedly. The relationship between Sarah and Dr. Harris developed naturally and calmly. They continued to work together at Parker's Refuge, maintaining professionalism but now with a new layer of closeness and affection. Their mutual support became even more evident, with both striving to ensure that their personal relationship did not interfere with the quality of care provided to the residents. "We're in this together, for work and life," Dr. Harris commented, holding Sarah's hand. Their relationship became a source of strength, not just for them but also for the staff and residents, who saw in them an example of love and dedication. The new phase of the relationship brought moments of tenderness and companionship. Sarah and Dr. Harris often spent evenings together, discussing plans for Parker's Refuge and dreaming about the future. They shared their hopes and fears, finding comfort in each other. In one of these moments, Dr. Harris revealed his desire to expand Parker's Refuge to other regions so that more people could benefit from the compassionate care they offered. Sarah, touched, agreed. "Let's do this together," she said, feeling that they were ready to face any challenge, both in work and life. The staff at Parker's Refuge noticed the change in Sarah and Dr. Harris's relationship, and many were happy to see how the couple supported and complemented each other. They were known for their commitment and passion for their work, and now they were also admired for the evident love they shared. "They are an inspiration to all of us," commented one of the nurses. Their relationship became an emotional pillar for everyone, showing that it was possible to find love and happiness even in the most challenging circumstances. Sarah and Dr. Harris became a beloved couple, both among the staff and the residents. Despite the joys of their relationship, Sarah and Dr. Harris faced challenges in balancing work and personal life. They worked hard to maintain their professional relationship during working hours, avoiding favoritism or conflicts of interest. "It's important that we're fair to everyone here," Sarah emphasized in team meetings. Transparency and mutual respect helped keep the work environment healthy and balanced. Outside of work, they found time to relax and enjoy each other's company, nurturing the relationship with care and dedication. The love that grew between Sarah and Dr. Harris also positively impacted Parker's Refuge. The duo, now more united than ever, worked even harder to ensure the place remained a refuge of peace and dignity. They discussed new projects, such as creating a therapeutic garden and introducing alternative therapies for the residents. "I want this place to be an example of how people should be cared for," said Dr. Harris, with Sarah by his side, both sharing the same vision. Their relationship not only strengthened Parker's Refuge, but also brought a new level of energy and innovation. Sarah and Dr. Harris's journey, from colleagues to life partners, was marked by challenges and triumphs. Together, they built a place where love and care were palpable, both for the residents and themselves. Parker's Refuge became an extension of their love, a place where each day was a new opportunity to touch people's lives. Reflecting on everything they had been through, Sarah felt grateful for having found not only a work partner but also a life partner. The future seemed promising, both for Parker's Refuge and for the couple, who continued to blossom amidst care and love. With Parker's Refuge established as a model of excellence in palliative care, Sarah and Dr. Harris began to think about the future. The success of the hospice and their shared passion for providing a dignified end of life inspired them to consider new ways to expand their impact. They started planning the creation of a foundation to support other healthcare professionals in implementing similar practices in other regions. "We want everyone to have access to compassionate and quality care," said Sarah as they discussed the first steps to launching the foundation. The foundation, which they planned to name in honor of William Parker, would have the mission of offering training and resources to other palliative care centers. The idea was to share the successful model of Parker's Refuge and help implement a more humanized approach in other institutions. "What we've done here can be replicated elsewhere, bringing comfort and dignity to many," explained Dr. Harris, excited about the project. The goal was to create a network of places focused on the holistic well-being of patients, respecting their individuality and needs. While working on creating the foundation, Sarah and Dr. Harris also explored ways to innovate within Parker's Refuge. They introduced new alternative therapies, such as music therapy and aromatherapy, to improve the quality of life for residents. "We want to provide as much comfort and joy as possible for everyone here," commented Sarah, discussing the benefits of these new approaches. The response from residents and their families was extremely positive, with many praising the new initiatives for bringing moments of happiness and relief amid difficulty. Sarah and Dr. Harris's relationship also flourished during this period of growth and innovation. They found a harmonious balance between their personal and professional lives, supporting each other through every challenge and celebration. "We're a team, both at work and in life," Dr. Harris often said. This partnership not only strengthened Parker's Refuge, but also brought a new dimension of happiness to both. They began dreaming of a future together, both as work partners and life companions, sharing a vision of a better and more compassionate world. The community around Parker's Refuge continued to support the work of Sarah and Dr. Harris. Charity events and fundraising campaigns became a regular occurrence, with active participation from local residents who recognized the value of the work being done there. Sarah felt deeply grateful for the continued support and the trust placed in her mission. "We're all in this together, creating a place where love is at the center of everything," she said, moved by the community's response. Parker's Refuge was not just a workplace. It was a true extended family. With growing success and recognition, Sarah and Dr. Harris began to think about physically expanding Parker's Refuge. Plans to build new wings and increase capacity were drafted. "We want more people to benefit from what we've created here," explained Sarah. The planned expansions included a new wing for patients with specific needs and an intensive care unit, allowing Parker's Refuge to offer an even wider range of services. The vision was to create a center of excellence that could serve as a model for others. The future of Parker's Refuge seemed promising and full of possibilities. Sarah and Dr. Harris, with their passion and commitment, were determined to continue expanding the reach of their mission. The foundation they planned to launch promised to be a powerful platform to spread their practices and philosophies of palliative care. "We're going to take this message of love and care to the world," said Dr. Harris, full of enthusiasm. For Sarah, Parker's Refuge was more than a job. It was the fulfillment of a dream, a place where she could fully live out her life purpose. Reflecting on her journey, Sarah felt incredibly grateful for all the experiences that had brought her to this point. From the pain and injustice of her dismissal to the creation of a space of love and compassion, she had grown and transformed. With Dr. Harris by her side, Sarah saw a future full of opportunities to continue making a difference in people's lives. Parker's Refuge was William's legacy of love, and now, with the foundation and planned expansions, that legacy would extend even further. Sarah was ready to embrace the future with a heart full of hope and love.